See you, all of you. I'm Yves Marguerat, chairman of the EAI International. My firm Fidex Audit is located in Lausanne, Switzerland, and we are member of the association since 1993. I'm very pleased to welcome you to this meeting. The pandemic created a lot of difficulties for all of us, our personal life, our business, and also our clients. But it was also an opportunity to develop new communication tools. We know how important it is that we know each other. This builds confidence, form of relationship, and then enable us to share business with trust. EAI International is not only a list of members, it's professionals connected each other through personal relationship. This afternoon, we have the opportunity for the first virtual networking meeting. This is an opportunity for members to introduce themselves, to present their own companies, and provide details and their services to other members. We would like to organize this kind of virtual meetings regularly, potentially every month or maybe 2 months. Today, we will start with a presentation of 2 members who joined us this year. The firms Van Hoesel de Blaey from Rotterdam, Netherlands with Ruby and Peter, and LH Frishkoff from New York, USA with Rick. All both presentations will be around 20 minutes each. And we will place you into a breakout rooms with 3 sessions, one for audit, one for tax, and the another for accounting services. And I will ask you to send just a quick message via the chat room to Jerome to organize this kind of, to organize the sharing. After around 12 minutes, we will join again together for the conclusion. And I propose to start immediately, and I will leave and give the floor to Ruby. Ruby, you have the possibility to share your screen with us, and you have all the right to Zoom right now. Please, Ruby.
Ciao, Ruby.
Sorry, I lost my mouse. So let's try to share the screen. Yep. This one. There we go. I hope you can all hear and see me. Welcome. And thank you for the opportunity to present our firms. Please allow me, this is not something I do on a daily basis, so if anything goes wrong, bear with me. Let's start off by introducing myself. And my partner, Peter Jan van Noordwijk. Both Peter and I joined Van Hoesel de Blaey about 25 years ago. I joined after having worked with KPMG, one of the big 4 companies, for a number of years. And eventually, Peter and I became partners with our founding partner, Jan Willem van Hoesel. Just a minute. Okay. And immediately, so there we are. Together, Peter Jan and I have over 25 years of experience in accounting, accountancy, and tax advice, and we offer dedicated financial advice to small and medium companies. We specialize in M&A and financing of transactions, national as well as international. And over the years, we have seen and helped a great deal of number of companies grow from a one-man company to a medium or almost mid-sized company. As a managing partner, I'm responsible for communications, and I handle all our international engagements. And apart from this, I'm responsible for all financial reporting. And Peter is our fiscal partner, heading the fiscal team and payroll team. Our name partner, Jan-Willem van Hoesel, engages with special projects. He's eager to be involved in M&A, financing, etc. There we go. Our practice was set up about 25 years ago after emerging from a major audit and tax consultancy practice. And as partners, we want to be accessible. We want to be really, really involved with our clients. Therefore, we choose to stay a relatively small accounting firm. We have 3 partners and we will have about 30 employees before the end of the year. We help our clients achieve their goals and fulfill their ambitions. And we're trying to be a little bit colorful in a somewhat gray world of accountancy and taxes. We're trying to come up with practical and creative solutions, getting our clients ready for the next steps. We have 2 offices. Oh, there we go. We have 2 offices. One is located in Rotterdam and one is located in Sliedrecht. Here you can see our Sliedrecht office, which is our main office. It's about 15 kilometers south of Rotterdam. Both our offices are located near Rotterdam, which is the biggest port in Europe and one of the main business centers in Europe. There we go. Our team. I mentioned before, we have 3 partners and we will have about 30 well-trained young professionals before the end of this year. I say before the end of this year because we're in the middle of buying another small audit company with 3 staff, and we will be welcoming 2 to 5 new members of staff before the end of this year. So by then we'll have qualified CPAs, an IT auditor, tax advisors, accountants, payroll calculators, a legal assistant and office assistants in our team. Each of our staff members primarily works in their own field of expertise, even though they're all trained in several fields of expertise, just to be able to understand all of our clients' needs and wishes. We have a great number of international clients, so all of our staff are fluent in English, and by now we have people speaking Portuguese, French, German, Papiamento, and even Russian. As a team, we closely work, we cooperate on a daily basis. We think it's important to have an eye for team spirit and social responsibility as well. We meet up outside of work at least once a month. We participate in relaxing activities, but we also do some charity work together. As you can see in these photos, we have a team running for Kika, which is a Dutch charity aiming for aiding children with cancer. We also actively work for the Voedselbank, which is a charity that collects and distributes food packages for families in need. And we also have a team running the Rotterdam Marathon each year. Not this year, by the way. We heard this week the marathon will be cancelled. Our services, let me see, where are we? Of course, we're a full service firm. We advise, support, and guide our clients, which are businesses and private individuals as well. We handle all matters relating to audit, accountancy, tax advice, and management. We have an AFM license, which permits us to carry out legal and statutory audits. So there are no surprises there, I guess. What sets us apart as an accountancy firm is our personal approach. We focus on building long-term relationships with our clients. We help our clients start up, grow, troubleshoot for them in difficult times, and help them to cash in on their success, both on a national and international level. I mentioned before, we have a lot of international clients, both coming in and going out of the Netherlands. So we are able to keep files in English as well as Netherlands. And all our documentation, for example, deeds, agreements, etc., are always available in English as well as in Dutch. I wonder, can you see the photos, or are you just seeing the first little bit of the presentation? Can anyone tell me?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, but then you'll probably also see my notes, or not?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry for that. Anyway, Our clients cover, as I said, I'm not really used to this, so the technique rather lets me down a bit. Apologies for that. Right, our clients. We have clients both national and international, and they're covering a wide range of industries. It's a good mix of both locally owned companies and foreign-owned subsidiaries. Being located in Rotterdam, it means we have a great deal of clients in the logistics brands. So logistics service providers, transport by road, sea. We even have a company that operates a fleet of semi-submersibles. I must stress though that we're not specialized in logistics. We also have clients in production companies, trading companies, software designers, travel agencies, consultancy firms, insurance brokers, and so on. Over the years, of course, business has gradually globalized. It goes for our clients as well as for us. Rotterdam and the Netherlands, as well as part of the EU, have excellent fiscal conditions for international entrepreneurs. We have great tax treaties with a great number of companies. Tax rates are low, and there are a great number of tax exemptions in place. So this is probably one of the reasons why there is a lot of international companies based in the Netherlands. And even though we are a relatively small company, we have a fair number of international clients, stemming both from our own network as well as referred to us by international partners. Also, our Dutch clients are, of course, globalizing and are expanding their business abroad. Therefore, we need to be able to rely on dedicated and trustworthy partners worldwide. We want to be sure we can refer our clients to accounting and tax advisory firms that share our personal approach and that can offer just as high quality of commercial and supportive advice as we do. In 2019, we came in contact with EAI and we met up with the Dutch member, John Graham. We were kindly invited to the Marrakesh conference to get a flavor of the association and its members. And indeed, we have met a lot of members and we found the membership will strengthen our international services. So we were very pleased to join EAI in January 2020. And since we have started cooperating with our Dutch fellow members, John Graham and his team, so a word of thank you to John. By now we already appreciate friendly and professional cooperation we have with you. Of course, we were looking forward to meet a lot of the EAI members on the 2020 conferences, but unfortunately Corona means we have to find other ways to get and stay connected as members of the association. So presenting ourselves online, even with a little bit of technical difficulties and the speed dating that we're going to do today, are one of the ways we try to reach out and to get to know all of our fellow members. So please feel free to talk to me or Peter today. And of course, you can also contact us by email or phone anytime. And we look forward to making our next steps with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ruby, for your presentation, and we are very pleased to welcome you in the family of EAI. If you can just maybe close your screen, close to share the screen.
There goes.
Thank you, and it would be maybe great now if we can leave the stage to Rick. Rick is the first time we meet together, but I will leave the speech to you.
Thank you. Can everybody hear me?
Definitely.
Oh, good, thanks. Okay, like Ruby, this is kind of way over my pay grade, so let me see if I can figure this out. Let me pull this over, see if this works. Not yet. Bear with me, folks. Sorry. On here? Ah.
You're going to click the slideshow. There we go. Now you're sharing the screen.
Does everybody see that?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes, perfect.
Thank you. Let me see if I can get it onto a slideshow here. Like I said. Aha. Okay, cool. All right. So good morning, everybody, or good afternoon, depending on where you are. I really appreciate the opportunity to talk to you today and introduce our firm. We are a new member to EAI. We were actually going to hopefully meet everybody in Panama back in April, and unfortunately events got in the way. So I just want to kind of introduce you to our firm, and I have 5 of my senior staff members on this call today as well, who I also want to introduce. And then, depending on what interest you have, to break out into the rooms as already been discussed. So Frishkoff and Company is a full-service accounting firm. We have been in existence since 1925. Some days I feel like I've been here since 1925, but not quite that long. I joined in 1984, became the managing partner in 2016. And basically, we're a firm of currently 28 people. We're always looking to increase our staff, our professional staff, probably the same as everybody else. That's not so easy to do these days, to get the right qualified people. My background is, very quickly, I actually grew up in England, got a Bachelor of Arts degree in Business Studies from Sheffield Hallam University, came to the United States in 1980, and have been here ever since. Do a number of different things other than my duties as managing partner, a lot of structural work in terms of mergers and acquisitions and tax strategies. I spent a lot of time on those items, and which I really enjoy. Just a little more about Frishkoff. You can see there, that's our main office. We're on the 9th floor of the Safra Bank building in New York City, which is on the corner of 46th and 5th Avenue. Actually, it's 45th, and it's between 45th and 46th. Right in the middle of Manhattan. You see that crowded picture. It doesn't look like that right now. It's much more quiet than that. We also have an office in Westchester County, which I'll get to in a second. This is just the inside of our office, just to give you an idea of what we look like on the inside. Relatively new office. We built this out and occupied this in January of 2019. These are some of our folks. The little one in the middle is our most recent intern. We like to try to start them early. And, one of the things that we pride ourselves on is the people who work for us, their longevity and their knowledge. And we've been blessed to be able to keep those people around. And that has a lot of advantages, which we'll talk about in a minute. This is our other office, which is in 565 Taxter Road in Elmsford, which is located in Westchester County, where we have an annex office there. So then the thing is, everybody wants to know, well, what makes you different than every other accounting firm that's out there? I'm not sure who posed for this. This may have been me or Charles or Bill. I'm not sure. We can figure that out later for this picture. So, we talk about the things that make us different. Number one, we've been around quite some time. Our firm has been around over almost 100 years, and 26 will be our 25 actually will be our centennial. And we've been located in all that time here in New York City, in various places, and our new place at 546 5th Avenue. We have a lot of industrial experience. I'll talk about a little later one of our largest clients to kind of fill in the gaps. But both on the domestic side and international side, we have a significant amount of experience, both on the inboarding side and the outboarding side, meaning that on the inboarding side, we have a significant number of clients that are usually based in foreign countries, setting up business here in the United States. And, you know, they need a lot of advice just because of the complexities of the setup here in the States. It is not simple between the federal, state, and local, certainly tax requirements, and other regulatory requirements. Payroll is difficult here. The rules vary from state to state. They vary from locality to locality. And as you're probably aware, the federal government is always, or seems to be always, changing the rules on a consistent basis. So the thing that I really want to emphasize are our people. Currently we're at 28 people. As I said, we're always looking to add to that. A lot of our people have been with us well over a decade. So we were able to attract them and make them feel at home. And also that pays benefits in terms of the services to our clients, because most of our staff are extremely efficient in their time because they already know a lot of the information that is required. So we're not kind of learning on the job. We have a very diversified staff that come from all around the world. And we'll talk about the languages. Ruby mentioned the languages that we speak, that they speak. We also have some linguists here. I'm not one of them, but we definitely have some linguists here as well. So in terms of the clientele that we service, it's really a very wide range. Here we're specifically talking about businesses, but we also, you know, probably do close to 600-700 individual tax returns as well. But in terms of businesses, they range from startup companies to our largest client, which I'll talk about in a few minutes, which last year had over 1.5 billion in revenue in the United States. And so we don't really get caught up in the size of the company. It's more about the quality of the people behind the company. And the reason I say that is because our largest client today started off with us where they sublet an office from another client. So you never know how, you know, where that client will end up in your portfolio. Again, it's about the quality of the people behind it. The other thing that I think sets us apart is that, and this is probably true of everybody else who's actually on this call, is that I think smaller size companies, the partners are actively involved in client day-to-day service. And I think that sets us apart because, you know, we're bringing that experience and also decision-making to the table to every client. And I think they appreciate that. It's certainly a great feedback that we get. And this kind of goes back to what I was saying before. We have a very high level of experience within our office. There's not many things that we haven't seen. And what that makes it is that makes us quick on our feet so that we can respond quickly to client requirements. And also it makes us cost efficient, meaning we get things done in a timely and cost efficient manner. And we find that our clients are extremely, grateful for that. A lot of the people that we compete against are actually much larger firms that we go up against here in New York City. Obviously, there's a significant number of regional firms. Obviously, you have the big four, but we have, some very large firms with 200-300 people in them that are here in the city. And so we find ourselves competing against them on a regular basis. wanted to talk very quickly about our exposure to international clients. So I did a very quick count yesterday of entities that we provide foreign ownership to, with foreign ownership that we provide full services to. And I was at 18, and I think it actually is more than that now. And essentially, we'll talk about that a little more, but we do a significant part of our business is being exposed to international companies that are doing business here in the United States. And then the other side of that is US companies that are more exposed to international work in terms of setting up subsidiaries overseas. And so we have, types of clients on both sides of this. The 18 entities we talk about here are just actually inbound side, meaning international companies doing business in the United States. There's a smattering of some of the languages that our folks speak. I am limited to English and can barely say that and use that at times. So we do have an international staff here who have a wide range of ability to speak in various languages. What do we do? So we basically break our accounting firm into three different areas. And basically these three circles here are done specifically for a reason. And that reason is that they essentially overlap. Some clients just want a certain type of service, certain ones another type, and certain want all three. And we're able to provide all three in a way that they can feed off each other, they can develop business between them, and also, it's a one-stop shop, for want of a better word. So that's we found that to be a huge competitive advantage for us. Moving into assurance and attest, on the call today with us, I have Vincent, who's one of my senior managers in the attest department. He's been with us for a number of years, and is one of our senior guys in that department. I won't go through his bio here, but he can certainly answer any questions when we break out in terms of his knowledge and also his background. Vincent is also fluent in Spanish, which I think is helpful too. In our attestation department, what are the things that we provide? We do obviously audit, review, compilation engagements for both commercial and not-for-profit entities. We also do audit engagements for employee benefit plans. Here in the United States, if you have greater than 100 participants in a plan, you are required to have an audit for that plan. Failure to do so could be extremely expensive in terms of regulatory fines. And not every accounting firm does provide those services, but it is something that we do. Other services that we provide in this area is the agreed upon procedures related to specific requests. It may be internal control testing and reporting. Because of our international experience, we're also required to report on the various additional audit requirements, such as Sarbanes-Oxley. Our largest client is a Japanese company, so we're also required to report under JSOX, and also international accounting standards. We have a client in Canada, and also our Japanese client also requires us under EIS certain reporting requirements. Here in the States, we are PCOAB registered. That allows us to do public work, meaning any company that is listed on a stock exchange and needs to be audited, the company that does that audit does have to be PCOAB registered and subject to audit under that regime. We're also peer reviewed. Here in the United States, the AACPA, if you are going to issue financial statements, requires a triannual peer review, meaning every 3 years you have to be reviewed by another firm for the quality, not only of your work papers, but also your internal documentation, your training of people. There things like CPE requirements, all those kind of things are peer reviewed every 3 years. And the report is issued, and our last report was an unqualified opinion, meaning that we were at the highest level of that peer review. Very quickly. So I always feel that it's better to tell, it gives people an example of the kind of work that we do. And I've kind of touched on this a couple of times. Our largest client is a Japanese public company. Last year, they did $1.5 billion in revenue here in the United States. They are audited in Japan by Ernst & Young, and they're set up as 7 independent entities with a consolidated holding company here in the States. They do have minority interests in there. And so it is a complicated process and audit. We have requirements, obviously, in relation to Ernst & Young, where we have to report to them, and different documentation and internal control requirements from their perspective. They've been a client with us for over 50 years, and we've been able to grow with them, obviously, over that time. And obviously that gives us a lot of experience, both in attestation here domestically, but also with exposure to international requirements. And so that's been a significant client for us, and will be going forward, but also I think tells a story about our ability to provide the right kind of services that might be of interest to anybody who has a client who is setting up in the United States. Moving on to our tax compliance and consulting. On the phone today, I have Bill Spiegel, who is our tax partner. And there is Bill's bio, very brief bio. Again, he will be in the tax breakout room if people have specific questions for him and his background. And also joining us on the call today is Dolly Rajani, who's one of our tax supervisors. And again, she can talk to tax compliance, both on the international and the domestic side. And she, again, will be in our tax breakout room. Did I hit that too fast? Income taxes. So tax compliance, just moving down this real quick. The obvious one, income tax preparation and projections, tax credit and incentives, tax provision services here in the United States, which I think is probably true everywhere, is there's a tax provision requirement related to attestation and audit. And we do provide those services both as an add-on service, but also as part of our a separate kind of service requirement. Transaction advisory is a big part of our work in terms of mergers and acquisitions, succession and estate planning, obviously international taxation, both on the business and the individual side. We're extremely, capable in terms of setting up new entities with foreign ownership here in the States, which does require a significant amount of knowledge. We're constantly dealing with audit, defense, and controversial tax positions. State and local taxes here in the United States is a very big deal that we have to deal with all the time. As with, I think, every other country now in the world, is that transfer pricing consulting is an extremely important part of any kind of service where there's international transactions going on. And just one of the things that we really kind of want to talk about is the issue of complex state and local sales tax laws, which are difficult here in the United States. And I'll talk about those further in a second. So here's our story time on this side in terms of tax and compliance. I want to talk about a client very quickly that came to us a number of years ago. It's actually a Bulgarian-based business. It's in the consulting field. They wanted to open up a U.S. presence. They were brought to us actually by a bookkeeper who is has Bulgarian background and was doing work with them. And they were opening up offices here in New York, in Chicago, and out in LA and California. So some of the things that immediately become an issue there is that right away, in terms of their specific situation, obviously they have a federal tax requirement. That federal tax requirement not only requires just the preparation of a tax return, but also under requirements here in the United States, you have to report to the federal government all intercompany transactions with foreign entities. And failure to do so could result in significant fines. There's also big issues in terms of transfer pricing and how you price the services that you provide. A lot of consulting companies, their basic contract is offshore, and then they kind of farm it out into the United States. And so transfer pricing in that situation becomes very demanding. And then the next issue that they had was that by setting up in California, then they were a Delaware entity, but even being a Delaware entity, if you have a physical presence in California, in New York, and Chicago, which they did, then right away you have 3 additional states where you're required to not only register to do business, but also file a tax return. But also you have locality issues. So New York City has its own tax regimen, as does LA. So there's a complex requirement that a number of people coming into the States don't, I mean, people here in the States don't even realize it, forget people coming from outside the States. So there is a significant tax requirement that people have to be aware of and plan for. And then on top of that, depending upon whether you have, depending on what the services are, or if you're selling tangible goods, there's generally a sales tax requirement too. And that sales tax requirement also varies via state and can also vary in times in terms of rates within a state. So in New York State itself, there's probably a good 20 different rates depending on what county you're located in. So there are very complex regulations that you have to be cognizant of and plan for, because they are an added cost, not only in terms of the expense itself, but also in the expense of compliance. Moving on to our third circle here is client accounting services. And I want to introduce Charles Fazio, who's our partner in charge of this department. And again, I was very brief bio there, and in our accounting breakout room, you can certainly talk to Charles more. And also Viol Kurtaj, who is a service manager in that department as well. Both of them are on the phone today, and they look forward to any questions you may have after this. CAS, what do they do? CAS is really, it's a lot of moving parts. So it's maintaining books and records for our clients. It's budgets and forecasts, cash flow monitoring, monthly closing and account reconciliations, compliance monitoring, payroll, sales and use tax, software implementation where required, commercial reporting in various states depending on what they need. Some states have receipt reporting. We can provide CFO and fractional CFO outsourcing to clients if they require it. And then it kind of moves, what we try and do in this department is to make it in compliance with our tax and audit department. So there's not a great amount of difference in structure, so that the client, it goes straight, if there's going to be an audit, for example, the financial statements are provided in a method under GAAP so that they can then go straight into audit requirements. That makes it much more efficient and a smoother operation. We also do financial forecasting and reporting. and then, you know, the reporting to parent entities offshore, and I'll talk about that in a second a little more. And, you know, we also recently, as I think every country has had, a significant amount of government stimulus has come through, and we spent a lot of time helping our clients in making sure that they have been able to get as much help as they possibly could. So there's a lot of work in this department that, you know, is over and above, you know, just a maintenance of books and records, but it's also, it works in conjunction with our other departments also. And again, one more story that relates to this, which I think is very important. We had a client that was based in France that opened up actually another consulting firm here in the States. They came to us and said, okay, we need to, first of all, you know, get this started. We helped them in terms of setting everything up. We put them initially onto QuickBooks and maintained them for 1 or 2 years, both on financial statement reporting. We reported back to France every month. And then at the end of the year, in terms of their reporting, you know, for tax prep, we did the tax prep here. Then as they developed, they then needed an audit requirement. We didn't have to issue a statement per se, but did have to report to the auditors in France on certain specific requirements that they had of us. And then also they asked us to move to SAP, and we were reporting to them under SAP. So we can essentially leverage from, you know, basic startup situations and grow with the client to take them, you know, to support them as far as they need to go. And so, you know, that's something that we're very capable of doing. And that's about it for me. I think that I'm going to turn this back over, if I may. And I think it probably do the questions in the various rooms. Yves, is that okay?
Yes, perfect. Thank you very much, Rick, for your presentation. And I propose that I will ask Jerome to break now. You will have the possibility you will receive an invitation. You follow the invitation, you will be together 12 minutes after. Please be back to the main room, and see you later.